We are going to go ahead and get started. This is Kim Dankey. I am your fast track instructor, and I am super excited to be here with you tonight. And here's why. The basics. The basics of the program is the foundation of the program. And if you just live doing the basics, the foundation, consistently and regularly, you are going to have great success. Now, over time, if you choose to start doing challenges with Jason, or move over into some of the more advanced things with Travis and the Tiger Site, then you have the opportunity to do that. But what I'm teaching you right now, if you just get this down and you live this, you're going to have great success, okay? And I just want you to know that. I found Shibboleth last April. I dropped 50 pounds in 5 months. And I have been maintaining that since last September. And I am thrilled that I have the rule book now, the rule book. I just follow the rules and it works, which is great. Okay, well, I'm going to share my screen with you and we are going to go ahead and get started. And hey, Deenda, awesome. And then Jody, hey there, and Shannon Anderson. Hey, everybody. Okay, I'm going to share my PowerPoint with you. Please feel free to take notes because tomorrow night's webinar, I ask y'all lots of questions, and if you take notes tonight, you'll be able to answer those questions faster and everything. But if you don't take notes, you will be getting this PowerPoint in a post that's going to come out in the Shibboleth New Member Fast Track group on Facebook. This little website, PowerPoint will be in there, but feel free to take notes too, because we all know the more we think through and write down things. Hey, Amy Wells and Kimberly Knotts on Facebook. It helps you. So please feel free to take notes for your benefit, okay? What we're doing tonight is we are introducing you or refreshing you to the basics of the Shibboleth lifestyle. And I didn't say diet, I said lifestyle, because that's what it's got to be. It's got to be a lifestyle. This is your program or lifestyle overview. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go over each slide. Now, my thought process in educating or helping teach people things is that if you do not know the terminology that we are using, and how are you going to be able to know what you're reading about, or when you're seeing people talk on Facebook, or you've looked at a video and you're just kind of confused. So tonight it's all about telling you the terms and the words that we use, maybe if there's a number attached to something, what that means. This is just the basics. And honestly, if you just start following everything that you learn tonight, you could start doing this tomorrow, because it really, really is just about applying a few daily disciplines and then learning what you like to eat over the course of time, okay? So we're going to go ahead and get started, and here are the basics. Hey Deidre on Facebook, and Candy and Jessica. Okay, so there are two modes. You're either in weight loss mode or you're in maintenance mode. There's 3 differences between them. The one difference is the number of holidays that you can use in a calendar month. Number 2 is how you eat fruit. And number 3 is your mindset, okay? So when you are, we'll talk about holidays in just a second, we'll talk about fruit in just a minute, but at no other time during this PowerPoint do I mention the mindset again, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that right now. Over the course of going from weight loss mode to maintenance mode, you need to get it settled in your mind and in your heart that this is something that you're going to be doing for life, so that you can create the results that you want and then keep the results that you want and just get better and better and better at it and more efficient at it. There are 2 types of days. Now, we like to say that this is Planet Shibboleth. You are now a citizen of Planet Shibboleth, okay? So if you hear me say that or somebody else say that, it's just because we are living on this little world where we follow our little guidelines and everything. So on Planet Shibboleth, we have 2 types of days. Now, as you continue in this lifestyle, you'll learn that there are different types of perfect days that you can have. Some of them are more advanced than others, but that's not what we're focused on tonight. All we're focused on tonight is there are two types of days. You're either having a perfect day where you're meeting every component of the Shibboleth shield, or you're having a holiday. And a holiday is some day where you are not meeting some component of the Shibboleth shield, okay? As I am talking tonight, if you think of any questions, please feel free to type them into the chat or on Facebook. Hey, Danielle, hey. Yes, I love it. I love that she said that. This class will teach you everything you need to know. And if you just start applying it, we're going to be good. It does require application and personal responsibility, though. Okay, how many holidays are allowed? So I'm going to say this right now. Hey, Kay from Ohio. I'm going to say this right now. We do not call them cheat days. Cheating has a negative connotation, and we don't call it that because a holiday does not have a negative connotation. It's just a different type of day. It's just one that where you are not meeting the components of the shield. So you're not cheating. You are having a holiday. So there's my rant, my little mini rant about that. But in weight loss mode, you can use up to 6 holidays in a calendar month if you'd like to use them. You don't have to use them, but you don't want to go over 6. Once you get into maintenance mode, you can use up to 12 holidays in a calendar month if you choose to. Like I said, you don't have to use them, but you can. You might be thinking, wow, 12 days is almost half the month. How could I do that and maintain the success that I created for myself? The way that you do that is by having truly perfect days on your other days. You have truly perfect days. It will work. I've been doing this now for 10 months in maintenance mode, utilizing most of the time up to 12, typically 10 to 11, but often up to 12, okay? So that's as simple as that. How do you have a perfect day? You follow the Shibboleth shield. Now, you've heard me say Shibboleth and you've heard me say Shibboleth. Okay, so we call it Shibboleth, but Shibboleth just rolls off my tongue easier sometimes when I'm saying the Shibboleth shield. So that's why I say that. But if you are in the Shibboleth new member fast track group, in the announcements at the very top, there is a video called the Origins of Shibboleth, where the name came from, how the company came about, or the ministry came about. So please watch that. Please, it's very important that you kind of know where that comes from. But Shibboleth is actually a Hebrew word. It was used in the book of Judges in the Old Testament of the Bible. And at that point in time, it was a password. So if you've ever seen on our website or on any of our t-shirts, shh, it's a secret. A password should be a secret, and that's what it was used for back in the day of the book of Judges. But Travis says, I'm a good old boy from Harley, Georgia. I call it Shibboleth, okay? So he's just long accenting the O, country accenting the O. And I'll tell you what, anybody that with internet access can do this program if you can understand Southern English, okay? Because I'm Southern English, Jason's Southern English, and Travis is Southern English. So I hope y'all enjoy our little accents, but they are fun. Okay, after 2 perfect days of following this shield right here, your body gets into a state called EFB, efficient fat burning. This is all the thing that we want to do. Efficiently burn fat. I am sure before you have decided, I'm going to lose some weight, and you tried many other things. I bet you anything, it wasn't an efficient way to burn fat. And following this shield and all the things that it does for your body, it will help you efficiently do that. And you're going to learn more about that as you watch videos and everything. We'll hit a couple more of those things tonight. But I'm going to run over these 5 things real quick, and then we're going to do a slide on each one. So number 1 is water. Number 2 is journaling your food. Number 3 is combinations. Number 4 is portions. And number 5 is timing. Thank you, Diane. I'm going to hit all of these on another slide, but I'm going to talk about combinations real quick. Combinations sounds like we're putting different foods together to make the right combination for health, okay? But I also want you to know that it's not just about putting foods together it's eating in a way that controls insulin. So you're going to find that there's little candy pieces, there's little meal replacements, there's good cereals, there's all kinds of things that you can use to eat in a way that controls insulin. But the reason we call this combinations is because we like to talk with you about using whole foods in order to do this program, but there's lots and lots of other options too, okay? So we're going to talk about water. So this is one of those things where I just tell you, you just do it. This is a daily discipline that you're going to put into place, okay? It takes the effort to remember to drink your water. I got mine right here. I don't know how I've started two, but I've started two. These are my last two to get in a gallon for today, okay? But the minimum amount that you want to get in daily is half a gallon. That is 64 ounces of water. That is your minimum. I joked in class yesterday. I joked, but not really. If you are headed to bed and you realize I have only had 63 ounces of water, I want you to go in there to the bathroom sink and scoop it up because you can get another ounce in there like that. I laugh and say that because you want to get in at least your 64 ounces. Because it's not about just the number. It's about not letting things slide, not letting things slide. Because if you'll let things slide in one area, you tend to let them slide in other areas, and let's just not do that, okay? So what we want to do, though, is we want to get to a gallon if possible. If you're thinking there's no way to get to a gallon, you just work on it. You just work on it, okay? But at least 64 ounces, which is really just 4 of these, okay? 4 of those. And water, nice, clean, clear water. If you want something like a Spark or a Celsius packet or a Crystal Light or something like that, Spark and Celsius are better than Crystal Light, but if you want something like that, you can, but I would say to do that after you've had at least half a gallon of water, okay? And then let's look at point number 3 right here because this is really important as to why you want to get in your water. A dehydrated body will not efficiently give up fat or waste, and we need our body to do both of those things efficiently, so we don't want to be dehydrated. All right. Component number 2 of the Shibboleth Shield is journal. You need to journal your food, and you need to journal daily. If you bite it, you write it. If you nibble it, you scribble it. If you drink it, you ink it. If you hog it, you log it. Okay, you write down absolutely everything that you eat. Okay, there are no idle bites on Planet Shibboleth. You write it down. Okay. The reason that you write it down is because it's going to help you live a more aware life. It is better to be aware of what you are doing so that you can make good decisions. If living that unaware life had got me where I needed to turn around and lose 50 pounds, okay? So we need to be very aware of what we are doing. So that's why we journal our foods. Now, one of the most important things about journaling is marking the type of day that you're going to have. So if you haven't already gone into your journal, I want you to do that tonight or tomorrow morning. But during the week, if you are in the Shibboleth New Member Fast Track group, I have a video that comes out every single morning. And it's a video of me showing you how to use parts of the website. So it's kind of my way to help shorten your learning curve on certain things. So I'd like for you to watch those. But in your journal, please make sure that you mark down if you're having a perfect day or a holiday, because that is what creates your icons that show up in your timing chart. And you want to see a green check on your first perfect day. Hopefully that'll be tomorrow. You want to see another green check on your second perfect day. That'll be Tuesday. And on Wednesday, which will be your third perfect day, but it'll be your first day in EFB, which is efficient fat burning, you're going to see a flame, okay? And you want to string as many efficient fat burning days together as you can. So you want to see those flames. The visual is really, really important. So make sure that you do that. Okay, so you do need to journal daily. Number 3, component number 3 of the Shibboleth Shield is combinations. We are going to eat properly combined meals that keep away the fat bus. The fat bus is a real thing. It is insulin, okay? We're going to talk more about this in a second, but insulin is a hormone, and it is a growth hormone, and it's not the type of growth hormone that is great for cellular recovery or great for hair growth or whatever. I mean, it's not the kind of growth that we're wanting. It's the growth that makes us wider, and we don't want that, okay? So it is a growth hormone that's focused on fat storage. So we're going to eat in a way that controls insulin, and that will help keep away the fat bus. I want you to know right now, y'all listen, this is important. This is the #1 way to weight reduction. So many people think that just portion control will help you lose weight. It's important. Portion control is important. But this is the #1 way to weight reduction. I had no idea. And I have read books, and I have listened to things and watched videos, about how health and everything, but never did I hear this in any of those studies. So I hope that right now you just learned something new. Component #4 of the shield is portion control. We are going to eat properly portioned meals from a 6 to 8 inch plate using the 2-hand rule. Now, of course, the plate size is important, and you can control your plate size at home. But when you're at a restaurant and they serve you this big giant plate, you've got to count on your 2 hands. So we use our 2 hands as our portion control. We move our thumbs completely out of the way, put our hands together so you cannot see between my hands. And then you place your hands down over your food. And if you cannot see your food sticking out around your hands, then you're good to go on the portions. I have not measured anything. I have not weighed anything. I have not counted any calories. And that's great because I don't want to do all that. So I get to carry my measuring tools with me wherever I go. And I'm going to teach you, like, this will be protein. This could be a fibrous carb. This could be an energy carb, okay? So we can use the parts of our hands to measure, but you don't want to have any more food than you can see. I mean, if you see it sticking out from underneath your hands, save that for later, okay? Don't shove it under and make it tighter, though, okay? All right. So component #1, water. #2, journaling. #3, combinations or eating in a way that controls insulin. And #4, portion control. Those must be met in order for you to say that you've had a perfect day, okay? Hey, Angela and Donna, you have to have those 4 things to say that you're having a perfect day. #5 is timing, okay? It is ultra important, but if you don't hit it just right and you've done all 4 of those other things, you're still having a perfect day. Okay, so let's look at that one real quick. Timing is about optimization. One of the things that we do or have done previously, I'm going to say in the name of Jesus, we are stopping it, is grazing. A lot of people graze and they never give their bodies a chance to to digest food. Okay, so we've got to give our body some fuel, give it some time to start the digestion process, give it some fuel, let it have time to digest, and so forth. So we do not want to graze. A cow has 4 stomachs, and it grazes. We have 1 stomach. We do not need to graze, okay? So we can do up to 3 meals a day if you would like. Now, as you advance, I just want to say that you might hear the terminology eating episode, because Travis will teach you how a snack could work as an eating episode if you wanted it to. But I want to mention it in case you see that on any of the Facebook feeds and stuff, but I'm teaching you regular shibboleth tonight, okay? Oh, Deborah, I'm sorry. Deborah's saying that she can't see me on Zoom, just the PowerPoints. Okay, so I'll kind of tell you. Deborah, are you on your phone? Because if you're on your phone, yes, that's why you can't see me. If you were on a computer, you could. So I apologize for that. So what I'm going to do is I am going to stop the share real quick. So just the 2 hands. See how my thumbs are not in the way? I move them out of the way. I put them close like this. See how you cannot see anything, and you lower your hands down over your food, and you don't want it to be any thicker than the thickest part of your hand, but if you can't see food sticking out around your hands, then you're good to go. So Deborah, one of the things that I was saying is, like, your protein might go under this part of your hand, where your fibers, carbs might go here, and your energy carbs might go here. So I just kind of use the different parts of my hands, like fingers and palms, or full finger and palms for that. So hopefully that'll help when I start going over that. Thank you for letting me know. You're welcome. Because I mean, I'm sure other people are on their phone and can't see it either. Okay, so if you are a breakfast eater, eat within an hour or two of waking, or whenever you feel like it. But whenever your first meal is, you want to have your next meal 4 to 6 hours later, and then your next meal 4 to 6 hours later. Now, if you're not a breakfast eater and you just eat lunch and dinner, that's fine. That's fine too. But you want to give yourself 4 to 6 hours between meals. Now, obviously, in what I'm going to teach you next, there's good, better, and best in everything that you do. So there's some, better practices than others. But I'm going to teach you everything that you can utilize to make a perfect day. And I'm going to teach you what might be better for weight loss. But I also want you to know that every single day may not be the same, but they all are perfect days. So on a perfect day, you could have 3 meals, space them out 4 to 6 hours apart. And if you have moments of mental weakness, you can utilize freebies, an extra, or a snack. And you really could have 3 meals, unlimited freebies, 1 extra, and 1 snack in a day, and it still be a perfect day. I call that living regular shibboleth, okay? But there are ways to advance. And some of those things you might utilize all of that in the beginning, and then you may utilize all of that in the beginning, but then you might take back freebies, or you may only do an extra if you're at the Mexican restaurant and you want cheese dip, or if you're at Chick-fil-A and you want their diet lemonade, because those things are considered extras. So, and don't really worry about figuring out too much about what extras are right now, because there is a link in the food library that if you click on that, it'll give you a big old long list of extras, and you can kind of read through there and see which things you might want to use, okay? And Deborah, some people on Facebook are saying that they can see me in the right-hand corner of their phone. So I don't know if you can or not, but I had some people comment that. Okay. So we call it mental weakness because we really do we really do need to train ourselves to be able to make it from breakfast to lunch to dinner without those things. And if we do 3 meals in a day or 3 eating episodes in a day, that is best, okay? That's best practices. But if you need something and you're having a moment of mental weakness, or you're actually hungry, then you get some freebies. If you like pickles, but not sweet pickles, or if you like egg whites, or sugar-free Jell-O, there's tons of things that can be used as freebies. Maybe some raw broccoli or steamed broccoli, or those are freebies too. So there's things that you can use to ward off hunger. But I'm going to tell you what my favorite freebie is right here. Right here. This is a 0-calorie freebie. And oftentimes when you're hungry, it's just that you haven't been getting your water in. So I use the terminology of I filter my daily decisions through the Shibboleth Shield. So mid-morning, if I've eaten about 8:30 and I know I'm going to eat around 12:30, and I think 10:30 I'm wanting something, I ask myself first, I go through the shield. Have I had my water? Most of the time, if I'm hungry, I have not been focused on getting my water, because if I'm focused on getting that water in, you're a lot more satisfied mentally and physically in your tummy, and that will help you a whole bunch, okay? So 3 meals a day is best. But let's say 3 meals and freebies, which really aren't going to have very many calorie impact on you at all, that would be better, okay? But if you have 3 meals, freebies, an extra, and a snack, and you still get your water in, you're journaling, and you're still portion controlling everything according to how to use those things, that's a good. You've still had a perfect day. So you can see how there's good, better, and best, and some of those things. You may have 3 meals one day, but then the next day 3 meals and freebies, the next day 3 meals and a snack, or 3 meals and an extra. You know, they're all perfect. So you can utilize everything, or you can utilize as little of it. So that is just what I want you to know, because sometimes people try to get real strict in the beginning and they don't utilize some of the things they might need to make it through that perfect day and remain in EFB. And I don't want you to do that. I want you to use an approved thing and get through the day and not give up your efficient fat burning, okay? So this is all about optimization and the way that you do all of this. I've got to go back to my portion control page real quick, because I want to I want you to listen or write this down. There are 3,500 calories in 1 pound of fat. This is why we have to portion control, because if you are in a calorie surplus of 3,500 calories, you are going to gain a pound. If you are in a calorie deficit of 3,500 calories, you're going to lose a pound. This is why we portion control, in addition to just not overeating and stretching our stomach and everything. But that 3,500 calorie thing, although we don't even count calories, we really don't. We don't count calories on Shibboleth. But it's important for you to know that, because as you get closer to that 5-10 pounds from your goal weight, you might have to look at calories just a little bit to tweak what you're doing. But just wanted to make sure that you know that there's 3,500 calories. Now let me go back to this slide real quick. So we've got 3,500 calories in a pound of fat. You're eating 3 meals a day, you're portion controlling, you're controlling insulin, you are just rocking it, okay? Well, let's say that you eat so many freebies in a day that you add it up. They hardly add up to anything, so I'm just going to use 30 calories. Then let's say you had an extra. A lot of extras are around 70 calories, so I'm going to use 70. And then let's say that you have a snack. None of our snacks allowed are over 200 calories. So all of those would add up to 300 calories in a day. If you can do without those, you're helping yourself get to that 3,500 calorie deficit faster. So if you're having 300 random calories a day, every day, that 300 into 3,500 is 11.67. You're slowing yourself down by 11 days on losing a pound of fat. So I just want you to be aware of that too. Use them if you need to, so that you don't give up EFB. Remaining in EFB is more important than you having just a few extra calories, because a few extra calories is okay. You don't want to come out of EFB, because it takes 2 perfect days to get back into efficient fat burning. All right, so combinations, which is component number 3 of the shield, is such a biggie that tomorrow night's webinar is all on that. But I'm going to do some highlights tonight. So there are 7 categories of food. So what I want you to do is I want you to take a blank sheet of paper. This is a brainstorming activity. Take a blank sheet of paper and just write down all the foods you like to eat. Just let them flow and just start writing them down. And if you're doing this with other people in your house, get them to be there with you, writing those things down. Then you're going to take some time over the course of this week to go into the food library and look what these things are, look them up and write down next to them. It's a category 6, it's a category 1, it's a category 2. You're going to write those down. Then you're going to take a separate sheet of paper and write category 1 through 7 at the top and organize your list. Once you've done that, you have your own personalized list of foods that you like to eat. And then you just combine them properly and you will be doing component number 3 of the shield. Okay? But there are 7 categories of food. And whenever you see a number 1 or the letters LP, that is a lean protein. Number 2 or an FC is a fibrous carb. Number 3, or an EC, is an energy carb. Number 4, or PF, is protein plus fat. Number 5, or FR, is fruit, but it's also known as an antioxidant carb, so you might see AC written somewhere. So look, we got carbs here. They're a certain type of carb. You got carbs here. They're a certain type of carb, and you got carbs here. They're a certain type of carb. They're all carbs, but they respond differently in your body, and this is why you need to know which ones go in which categories. When you see a number 6 or the letters SF, that is a super food. And when you see the number 7 or SHF, this is shellfish, which is really just a lean protein. So let me hit a couple of things. Lean protein, number 1, shellfish used to be in number 1, lean protein. But due to biblical reasons and medical reasons, some people don't want to eat shellfish. So we pulled it off, and it's its own category. So when you print out your advanced combination chart or your combination chart, if you don't like number 7s or don't do number 7s at all, you could take a Sharpie and just draw through those, and you don't even have to look at those, okay? But that's shellfish. I also want you to know that it says shell, but it doesn't have to have a shell to be in this category. For example, octopus. Octopus doesn't have a shell, but it's in this category. So if it lives in water and it's not a fish, then it goes in the shellfish category. But you can use category 1 and category 7, you can use them interchangeably. So if you ever hear, oh, you need a lean protein with that, it can be something from the category 1 or the category 7. They are used interchangeably. Okay, now let's talk about this superfood. This is important. I will ask you this tomorrow night. What qualifies a food to be in the superfood category? It has all 4 macronutrients, okay? Now, if you've done any studying of any type of nutrition before, you probably are thinking 4 macronutrients. I didn't know there was 4. Well, because you might be thinking protein, carbs, and fat. Well, on planet Shibboleth, water is a macronutrient, and it is the most important macronutrient. You can't go without having your water. So, and it's a 0-calorie macronutrient too. So a superfood will have water in it, it will have protein, carbs, and fat in it. It will have all those things in a superfood. And you just have to combine them properly. So what we're going to do real quick is we're going to look at I'm going to give you my tips on the way that I've trained myself to go ding, ding, ding. These are the ones that I need to make sure that I combine properly. Before I do that, there are 5 of these 7 that you can eat by themselves. They don't even have to be combined at all. Now, that doesn't mean that you get more food of it. It just means that, like, let's say lean protein, you would still put under one hand. But you don't have to combine it. Fibrous carbs, you could just have a big old fibrous carb salad. You don't have to combine anything with that. You could have multiple fibrous carbs in that salad. Energy carbs, you do not want to eat them by themselves. Protein plus fat, let's just say that you wake up and you make yourself some whole eggs scrambled. That is protein plus fat. You can eat that by itself. Fruit, you do not want to eat by itself in weight loss mode. So you remember earlier in the webinar where I said that fruit was one of the differences between weight loss mode and maintenance mode. When you are in weight loss mode, fruit must be combined properly. Once you get into maintenance, if you're having a regular meal with fruit in it, you would still want to combine that properly, but you could also have a serving of fruit as a snack by itself if you wanted to, once you get into maintenance. So we think fruit's good for you, but here's the thing. You are currently in the nutritional situation of wanting to burn some excess body fat off. You're wanting that off. So if that's what you're wanting to do, then you need to treat fruit differently at this point in time. Once you get into maintenance, you're in a different nutritional situation. So you just have to do what you have to do to get where you want to be, and that's fruit. So we don't eat it by itself in weight loss. Superfood, you can eat it by itself, and shellfish, you can eat it by itself. And we're going to learn more of what comes in each one of these categories tomorrow night. Also, if you are a brand new member, you can look at your food library. There will be a little link for food library, and there's just some lists of food library, and that'll help you to visualize what is in each category. If you are not a new member, but you're thinking, I never did see that new member food library because you've been around for a while, if you go into your dashboard and you edit your widgets are the little blocks that you can put in there. The one that says food link, you can add that as a widget if you want to, okay? All right, let's look at this. So I have my brain trained to think energy carb, ding, 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 pair that properly. If you want to have an energy carb, you must have it with a lean protein and a fibrous carb. That's a must and an and. So you must have it with both. So let's say that you want a category 3 energy carb. Let me just use corn, for example. You want some corn. You could do about 1/4 cup of corn. And Deborah, I'm showing that you could put that like where your fingers are, maybe. That might total up maybe what 1/4 cup of corn is. But if you want to measure it, you can too. But if you don't, just put it under that area of your hand. Okay, then you must pair it with a lean protein and a fibrous carb. So I just keep everything real simple tonight. Chicken breast. So under one hand, you would put some chicken breast, all right? And then maybe under the palm of your hand, you could put some broccoli. Okay, so that would be chicken breast, corn, and broccoli all combined underneath your hands for portion control, and you have a properly combined meal. Let me tell you what is happening with that meal, because I believe that you understanding the science behind this is crucial. The corn is going to bring an insulin release. Actually, just to let you know, a little bit of insulin comes out every time you eat something, but some foods act as its own way to regulate insulin. So protein and fibers, they act as their own way to regulate that, and they'll negate that pretty quickly. But you eat that corn, a little bit more of an insulin release is going to be coming out. But at 1/4 cup, did you overeat it? No, you didn't. You didn't overeat it at 1/4 cup. So you eat that, you got more of an insulin release because of the corn. So you have to pair that properly so that you don't lose your efficient fat burning. So you eat this with chicken breast, so the protein in the chicken breast and the fiber in the fibrous carb are going to help neutralize the insulin release that came from the energy carb, the corn. Okay, with you doing that, you will not lose your efficient fat burning. If you were to eat corn or an energy carb by itself without combining that, you've no longer had a perfect day. You do come out of EFB because there was nothing to slow down that insulin. And remember, insulin is the fat bus. It's going to go around and you'll have fat storage for up to 2 days. And that is basically if you've given yourself any fat to eat too. But we're not going to complicate it with that. If you don't pair it properly, then it's not a perfect day. It's called a holiday. Now, fruit. Fruit is very similar to energy carbs. So I have my head, ding, ding, ding. If I want to eat fruit, I must combine that properly when in weight loss mode. So let's say that you want to have some berries for breakfast. Maybe you make yourself an egg white spinach omelet. That would be great. You could actually do about 1/2 cup of berries, maybe 1/2 cup of berries with an egg white spinach omelet, and you're good to go. One thing that is really, really popular right now is some Greek non-fat yogurt with some berries with some hemp flakes in it or some hemp powder. We'll talk more about hemp products tomorrow night because that's kind of a category of its own, not with a number. But that's really popular right now. But let's say that you're having a barbecue for some folks and you want to have some hamburgers, some watermelon, and just some other goodies, but you want to stay perfect. You can have your watermelon, maybe about 1/2 cup of watermelon, but make sure that you do 96% lean ground beef for your burger patty. And then if you really wanted a bun, you could do a fibrous carb bun. as a category 2. That's a 1, a 2, and a 5. That would be properly combined. Totally does not look like that would be a weight loss plate, but with the right bread and the right meat and the right portion, it would be. I personally would give up that bun though to get myself some broccoli or something like that, okay? Now, the other one that I've got set up on here that I must pair properly is a protein plus fat. And this is the way you want to think about this. Those other ones, you must put them with certain things. On this protein plus fat, my head goes ding, ding, ding. Do not put it with these certain ones. You don't put an energy carb, you don't put your protein plus fats with number 3, energy carb, number 5, fruit, or number 6, superfoods. Because those 3 that I just mentioned bring a little bit more of an insulin release. You don't want to have anything that has more of an insulin release with something with fat in it. That's why you don't do that. So a protein plus fat can be eaten by itself. So tomorrow night when I ask that question, the answer is yes. Yes, it can be eaten by itself. But optimally, if you're not eating it by itself, you would combine it with a category 2 fibrous carb. That would be optimal. But whatever you do, don't put it with an energy carb, fruit, or superfood, or that's no longer a properly combined meal, and that would need to be a holiday. If you liked surf and turf and you wanted to do a little bit of steak and lobster, you can do that because that's 2 protein sources. You would still put that with maybe a fibrous carb, but not your energy carbs, your fruit, or your superfood. You could also do some steak and chicken if you want to. Now, that's still going to go under one hand because that's your protein source, but it does give you more flavors on your plate. So just letting you know that you can do that. Your fastest fat burning meal is a category 1 plus 2 plus MCT. MCT stands for medium chain triglyceride. We're going to hit that in just a minute. But I do want to talk about the classic plate of a steak and baked potato. If you eat a steak and a baked potato on Shibboleth, it's a holiday. It's a holiday. Now, I had one recently down at my in-laws' house, and it was delicious. But I already had that planned as a holiday, and I thoroughly enjoyed that. But I don't want to do that every day because it's going to eventually catch up to me. So this is what happens when you eat that. If you were to eat the steak by itself, no problem. There's good source of protein in there, and actually that's good fat. That's not a man-made fat, it's a natural fat. Our body will use that fat in certain functions. Our body does need fat for certain functions, so our body will use that fat, and it would just get used up as energy. But if you decide to pair that with an energy carb, that potato for the classic plate example, then you eat this potato. And usually you're at a restaurant and it's not even a reasonably sized potato, it's usually huge. And so you have very large doses of insulin come out. Well, these large doses of insulin come out and it says, oh, awesome. See, what happens is, think about this. If you're asleep right now, wake up. Okay, because this is important. Insulin comes out to regulate your blood sugar due to the blood sugar increase from the potato. But you know how we go, squirrel? That's what insulin does. It says, oh, squirrel, look, there's fat. I'm going to go collect it. So it quits doing what it's doing for blood sugar. It actually would still regulate, but it gets real excited and it goes out and gets that fat and it stores it. And that's not what we want to do. That is storing new fat while we're trying to get rid of old fat, stored fat. Okay, so that's not what we want to do. So we don't want to collect new fat while we're trying to burn stored fat. So just make sure that you are combining your protein plus fat. You can eat it by itself with a 2, with other protein sources, but not things that bring more of an insulin release, and that's your energy carbs, fruit, and superfoods. And I hope that makes sense. Is anybody sitting there going, wow, oh my goodness, I mean, this is amazing stuff? I was. Okay, so let's kind of recap. Your fastest fat burning combination is a 1, which is a lean protein, plus a 2, which is a fibrous carb, plus the addition of MCT. That is a cooking oil. We're going to hit that in a second. Or you could also do a 7, which is also a lean protein, a shellfish, plus 2, plus MCT. If you want to eat a 3 or a 5, which is your energy carb or your fruit, You must eat it with a lean protein and a fibrous carb. And then you do not want to eat category 4 protein plus fats with your energy carbs, your fruit, or your superfoods. Let me drink something. And then the last point on this slide is to help keep you, you're welcome, Shannon, is to help keep you safe at a restaurant. All meat at a restaurant should be considered a category 4. Even if you're eating a piece of chicken breast and at home it would have been a category 1, at a restaurant it must be considered a 4. You do not know what oil they cooked it in, so basically it was a lean protein with added fat, so it turned into a protein plus fat due to the cooking oil. Okay, Nora, yes, it is. Nora is asking, is it fine to eat the fastest burning combinations for all 3 meals? Yes, it is. Okay, let's look at approved cooking oils. This is amazing. So I kind of want to go back and talk about combinations real quick. What we just went over, secret alert, y'all. That is a secret, and y'all need to be combining those foods in a way that control insulin. Tomorrow night, we're going to hit all of that even more, but I want you to know that you could also use recipes, and we have thousands of recipes in our recipe library. You can also use restaurants, and we've got hundreds of restaurants in the restaurant guide, and you can also use meal replacements, which I like because they make my life easy, and oftentimes meal replacements fill those voids that you might be experiencing. Let's say that you had a habit of eating a candy bar for lunch every day at the vending machine at the office or something. Get a candy bar that is a meal replacement. The Oh Yeah bars, they're delicious. So we kind of will talk about all of that tomorrow, okay? So it's not just combinations, it's recipes and restaurants and meal replacements. So keep all that in mind. But your cooking oils for when you are cooking are going to be medium chain triglycerides at 100% medium chain triglyceride, not just something that says medium chain triglyceride. It needs to say 100%. You can use coconut oil, ghee butter, which is spelled G-H-E-E, and hemp oil or 0-calorie cooking spray. You can use all of those things. Let's talk about this medium chain triglyceride and why it makes a meal the fastest fat burning meal when you put it with category 1 and 2 or a 7 and 2. Well, MCT stands for medium chain triglyceride, okay? What you have been using before, as I was, is long chain triglycerides. That is canola oil, vegetable oil, olive oil. Those are all long chain triglycerides. They have a very, let's talk about like as a fat lipid. It's got a very long lipid, all right? And it takes a really long time to burn up, and it has a great propensity to be stored on the body as fat because it's not getting burned up. And I know I wasn't out running any marathons. I'm still not out running any marathons. But if I ran marathons, I might be able to burn up those long chain triglycerides, but I don't, okay? And so I need to use a shorter chain triglyceride, which is this medium chain triglyceride, okay? It's still a fat lipid, but it's short and it burns up like that. It burns up so fast that I have to tell you, when you are cooking with it, please cook on low to medium heat. Otherwise, you will set off your smoke detector. So it does burn up really, really fast. Now, in weight loss, we need to lose weight properly. And I know you're thinking, okay, to just get rid of it. No, we want to access stored fat only. And we don't want to access muscle. We don't want to access tendons and ligaments and heart mass. We want to burn stored fat. And if you're eating in a way that Travis has laid out with this combinations and everything and using the approved foods, you are going to be getting all of the macro nutrition that you need. Little side note, a whole vitamin would be a good idea to take because a whole vitamin provides the micronutrition, where with the foods you're getting all the macronutrition. But back to this MCT oil. MCT has a couple of properties that's really good for us while we're losing weight. One, it helps to maintain your muscle. It has a muscle preserving effect. It also has a metabolism building effect. So it's thermogenic. And we have got to get food into the digestive system that is thermogenic. And that would be lean proteins. That would be fibrous carbs. That's a little bit of MCT oil. Jason likes to say that MCT oil is like adding jet fuel to your meal, because a category 1 lean protein and a category 2 fibrous carb, Travis calls that exercise on a plate. I'd much rather have exercise on a plate. That's exercise on a plate, meaning that it takes just about as many calories to digest that food as are in that food. So that is a negative or almost a wash in a meal if you're looking at calories. But then you add this medium chain triglyceride to it. It's thermogenic. It helps you burn a few extra calories, so there's a little bit more there, which is great. Now, I do want to tell you, we prefer that you buy the zero drag MCT oil from the store, but you don't have to. We don't require that you buy anything from us, but it really is the best. It has been optimized for cooking. You would use 1 tablespoon of this for 1 serving. And the one that we have at the store has 100 calories per tablespoon, whereas all the other ones out there that I've seen have 130 calories per tablespoon. So there's another reason to use ours. If you can buy it from us, it'd be better. But if you don't buy it from us, make sure that it does say on the bottle 100% medium chain triglycerides as the ingredient. Don't let it say medium chain triglycerides from coconut oil. It needs to, because it is from, it's medium chain triglycerides, and coconut oil is 60% MCTs, but it's not 100%. Okay, so, you know, people try to sell you things when you don't really need that, or that's not the product that you're looking for. So make sure it says that. Also, make sure it says that you can cook with it, because we are only using it for 3 purposes. 1 is cooking meals like in a pots and pans on the stove. 2 is in your recipes, and 3, you can use it to make salad dressings with it. But we're not making bulletproof coffee with it. We're not taking it as a supplement, and we're not putting it in our shakes or anything like that. You're only using it for cooking. So you want to make sure that it says that you can cook with it. And so make sure that it says that it doesn't say that it's emulsified. If it's emulsified, you cannot cook with that. Okay, so look for that. Also, keep in mind, people that are trying, like companies, businesses that are trying to sell you MCT oil may not be trying to teach you to use MCT oil in the same way that we are. Okay, so their bottle may say, oh, make bulletproof coffee with it, use it in this way, use it in this way. But don't do any of those things. Just use them the way that you're learning with Shibboleth. Okay. Then we can hit this coconut oil. That is 60% MCTs. Ghee butter is 40% MCTs. And what ghee butter is, it's butter that's been clarified, and it's 40%. Hemp oil, I don't know how many MCTs are in there, but you could use it. And then you've got 0-calorie cooking spray. I had a really great question one night. It was, well, why would you choose to use MCT oil, which has 100 calories per tablespoon, versus a 0-calorie cooking spray? Well, the reason is those other answers that I gave earlier, that it is thermogenic, that it is muscle preserving, it's metabolism building, that type of thing. But think about this. There's 100 calories per tablespoon, but some of those calories are going to burn up in the cooking process. You're not even going to ingest all of those, okay? But the 0-calorie cooking spray is excellent for when you are cooking category 4 protein plus fats. So that's what I would use that for. So for example, if I'm cooking egg white omelet, I will use a little bit of MCT. I don't use a full tablespoon with that. But if I'm cooking a whole egg omelet, then I use my 0-calorie cooking spray. So those are the little things that you'll learn to do. Am I forgetting something about the cooking oils? I feel like I might be, but I'll come back to it if I'm not. All right, so now let's pull all of this together. We are striving for those perfect days where you're meeting those 5 components of the shield. And remember, the first 4 you've got to meet. The 5th one is for optimization. But you're striving for perfect days. But planned, I'm hoping you plan them out so that you've at least thought through your holidays. Planned or unplanned, a holiday is coming. I don't want you to think of it in a bad way that a holiday is there. It just either happened if it were just by accident, or maybe you decided to turn a day into a holiday, but you don't want to do that so often that you don't have the holidays for when you need them or want them due to birthdays, anniversaries, vacations, things like that. So you're going to have a holiday at some point. You just have to know you get right back to your perfect days after that. This is what makes this a beautiful lifestyle. How many of you are sitting there right now could say that you've done this? You're either on all the time doing it perfectly, or if you even mess up at all, you're going to go like eat everything. Well, we don't want to do that. That's not a reasonable way to think about it. Shibboleth gives you a very balanced lifestyle to do. So for example, I like Freddy's fast food restaurant. I don't eat their buns, but I've always done their lettuce wrapped burger there. But I like their fries and I like their sweet tea. I like their custard. So I had a holiday yesterday and I went and had that. But I don't need to have that 365 days out of the year. Okay. So I can choose to have that ever so often. So it's not like I can't have the things I had before. I just eat them more reasonably now. So just keep in mind that after a holiday, it takes 2 perfect days to get back into EFB, and then you want to string as many efficient fat burning days together as you can. You're going to see that little flame on your timing chart, okay? And then when you are in EFB, your body is going to be burning stored energy, which is fat. All fat is stored energy. We overate by X number of calories that didn't get burned off, so they got stored. So when you're in EFB, your body is going to use stored energy because it doesn't have any other easily accessible sources of energy to use. It's going to have to use stored energy. Insulin has gone out of your body, so there's no fat storage occurring. All of the glycogen has gone back out of your body over the 2 perfect days, so your body is not accessing easy sugar sources. And if you're not giving it unapproved oils and you're not giving it starchy or sugary carbs in a way that's not an approved way, then you're going to be burning fat, and it's going to be an excellent, excellent thing to do. Okay, so keep in EFB. Now, let's hit again what the fat bus is. The fat bus is insulin. Insulin is a hormone. It's specifically a growth hormone that is focused on fat storage. After an insulin release, fat storage occurs for up to 48 hours, meaning you're out of efficient fat burning, because if you're out of efficient fat burning and you've got insulin in your system and then you've eaten some fat stuff, your body is going to just store it. That's just what it's going to do. But you get back into EFB by having the perfect days, and then you string as many efficient fat burning days together as you can. This is also very important. I want you to see this point number 3. Insulin also increases appetite. So let's say that you decide to have some French fries on a holiday, but then you get home and you want to eat the ice cream and the chips and the cookies, and then you're going to have some dry cereal, and insulin increases your appetite. So we want to keep that in mind and choose not to do hog trough. Okay. So, and you also want to keep in mind that after a holiday and you get back into EFB, that if you're a little hungry the next day, you just need to remind yourself, oh, insulin increases your appetite. I'm just going to have to get it through there. Maybe let me have a freebie or something like that to help me out. Okay. Oh, good. Awesome. I'm glad you were here, Deanda. Okay. And then I've already said that multiple times, so I'm going to move on. So now the question is, what am I going to eat this week? Because you can start drinking your water tomorrow. You can start journaling your food tomorrow. You can start combining tomorrow, but that is like, what am I going to eat? You can start portion controlling tomorrow. And you can start the timing components tomorrow. All of that is easy to start tomorrow. And if you have questions, you ask on the Shibboleth silver level group. The reason I say silver level group is there's more people, there's more experienced people in that group, and they'll be able to answer you quickly. But from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., if you have a question, there's a Monday through Friday, there is a green button at the bottom of your website that says need help. They'll help you right there. But what are you going to eat this week? You need to come up with a list of your favorite about 7 to 10, 10 to 15 would be great. Lean proteins that are category 1 or 7, and come up with your favorite ones that are your fibrous carbs. And it's literally like you were in elementary school and you had to draw a line matching some things from one column to the next column. You might eat chicken breast with green beans. You might eat chicken breast with broccoli. All right. You might do 96% lean ground meat with some asparagus. Just something like that. You might do yogurt with some hemp flakes. There's lots of different things, okay? But one of the things that I found to be really easy for myself, and if you're doing a 1 and a 2 and you're going to cook it, use that MCT oil if you want to make it be the fastest fat burning. But this one right here, meal replacements. This made my life very easy in the beginning. So for example, Mighty Muffins. I ate a ton of Mighty Muffins. So I probably ate 30 Mighty Muffins in my first 20 days. And if you want to know what I ate for my first 20 days, if you go into the Shibboleth new member fast track group, up in the announcements, I try to put in everything in the announcements that I think that you could use. There's one that says April meal plan. It's a spreadsheet and it just shows you what I ate during that month. No, it's just 20 days. That's what's in there. And I lost 12.5 pounds during that time. So you could use that or look at that if you want to, but there's a bunch of Mighty Muffins on there. But in the beginning, just keep it really, really simple. Keep it simple. That's why 1s and 2s is just simple. Throw in some meal replacements. Figure out what you could use as a freebie if you feel like you might need something extra like that as a freebie. But you just want to just start learning it and keep going. Then you need to take advantage of our awesome resources. Make sure you're in the Facebook support groups. There's a post in the announcements in the new member fast track group that has a link to all of the things that you should be members of, okay? You want to familiarize yourself with our awesome website, and that's just going to take playing around over a period of time. But if you'll watch the videos that I put out each morning, usually before 6 a.m., so if you're a early bird, you can do that. Then it'll help you learn the website faster. And then make yourself a mentor appointment. But listen closely to this. I want you to make your mentor appointment for next week. Now, when you hop off of here, you can go ahead and schedule it, but schedule it for next week. The reason I say that is because if you will focus in this week on the fast track and do the fast track, the conversation that you have with your mentor is going to be much more educated, and they won't be educating you on what you learned during fast track. Y'all can have a more intelligent conversation about what you eat, when you eat, how you should do things. Okay, so I just feel that would be best. So you can go ahead and schedule the appointment, but schedule it for next week and focus on the fast track this week. And then Facebook can be a little weird sometimes, and it doesn't tell you that a post has come out into a group that you're a member of. So just know each morning you need to go to that, or if it's at night when you have to do it due to work, but go to the Facebook group, and you have to, if you're on your phone, when you go to the group, pull down and it'll refresh the group. Or if you're on a computer, you would go to that on the computer and hit the refresh, and you have to search out the post. But I do have them titled day 1, day 2, and so forth, okay? And then welcome to the Shibboleth family. We are here for you, and I just want you to be super, super successful. And let us know if you have any questions at all, because we're here for you. Make sure that you've registered for tomorrow night's webinar, and we will go over what is just some short lists of what are in different categories. And if you'll start looking at your new member fast track food list, in fact, I'm going to share that real quick. That way, those of you that haven't seen this before will know. Actually, I'm going to show it with the my regular website. Those of you who are here for a refresh, that you no longer have the new member dashboard, if you click right up here on your dashboard, if you're a Tiger's Eye member, your dashboard is going to look like this, okay? If you're not a Tiger's Eye member, it's going to won't have all that colorfulness behind it. But do you see right here? Do you see this little square? and a little pin in it. It says enable edit mode. If you click right there, do you see right here where it said, no, not there. Do you see this one, that the plus sign, it says add new widget? If you click there, here's all the widgets that you can have in your dashboard if you wanted it. If you pick this one called Food Link, that is going to be just like you were a new member and you could get that. I'm going to show you what it looks like because I have it right here. Well, once you've done that, make sure you go back up here and you hit Save Changes. But right here, so those of you that are new, your food library already looks like this. And you could just quickly and easily look through these different categories, okay? You actually, look at this word print. You could print this and then put checks by the little in the little boxes of the foods that you like. There's a phase 1 combination chart for you to use right there. So those of you that have been around a while, if y'all want to have this in your dashboard for some reason, you can just add it as a widget. It's really easy. And y'all can just look through those different categories, okay? Now, if you're a new member and you think, wow, I need to see more foods that are just here on these simpler lists, you go right there to go to Complete Food Library. All right, so that's how you do that. And I hope that helped. Okay, I'm going to hop off, but I will see y'all tomorrow night for the Simple Food Combining webinar. So make sure that you have registered for that. Thank you so much for your attention. I certainly appreciate it. And I look forward to getting to know you guys. Bye. You're welcome, Kay.